And Smith-Njigba has it. Touchdown Seahawks.
Welcome back to the Sports Spotlight. I'm your host, Rizwan. With me on the air, I've got my good buddy, Shep. And Shep, I thought you would enjoy hearing about that highlight, deep, long bomb caught by Jackson Smith and Jigba there.
Got me to the semis this year before everything fell apart.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Look, You know, when we talk about fantasy football, it's so much like the real game in the way it plays out. You can do everything right. You can have the right talent, but then stuff happens, man. Stuff happens, and you end up as the Buffalo Bills instead of the Kansas City Chiefs, right? So that's just part of the game. You can do everything right. It's just, I think, I firmly believe that's part of the reason it's such a sustaining, high interest activity is because of that, because it's so difficult to actually dominate, even if you are better at evaluating, better at finding the talent. There's still the games matter, and anything can happen.
And things out of your control, and that's why the best franchises are the ones who always focus on what they can control.
Yep.
And they do a good job of evaluating talent and all. And if you get enough bites of the apple, eventually you should win. Which Bills fans and Viking fans are like, oh really? But eventually the process pays off, or at least from a percentage perspective.
Yeah, it's the old adage. You keep doing the right things long enough, eventually you get the fruit of your labor. So I'm hoping. Look, I thought it was going to be this year for the Bills. I'm hoping it's going to be next year, and I'm going to keep hoping as long as they've got Josh Allen. I'm going to keep hoping, and I hope that they can get that luck, like the Indianapolis Colts or the Patriots.
I mean, you think about it. There are some franchises where some bounces just absolutely went their way.
Yep.
And those bounces, even though some of them were just pure luck, right, absolutely determine how people view them. As they're obviously successful leaders of men, yada yada. I was like, oh. or Franco Harris picked the ball up off the ground in the immaculate deflection, which under VO review today would be an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
So, going back to one of the calls that John Madden just never got over as a head coach of I guess he was the Oakland Raiders at the time.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, so, we talk about, I mentioned earlier the dog days of the NBA schedule. I talked about what the early part of the college baseball season you don't really pay attention to. And frankly, I haven't really looked into college baseball since the World Series, right? Because it doesn't really get interesting until conference play starts, right? That's true of almost every single sport except this one. There is no downtime for the NFL. There just isn't, right? We had the Super Bowl, and we were like, we talked about the Super Bowl. We talked about what was going to happen with free agency, who was going to be let go, what was going to, how that was going to shake out. And here we are, every week there's something to talk about the NFL.
The NFL has managed to dominate even in the off season.
Yeah, supposed off season. So here we are, it's combine time. And boy, oh boy, let's talk about, I think there's something you want to talk about, and I'd love to get into that in a second. Let's talk about the quarterbacks, because it is the highest value position, and it feels like every year there are at least a third of the NFL teams that are outright in need for their starting quarterback, or are at least looking right? I think, and I might be overselling here. Uh, it might be more than that. It might be there's only about 8, 9, 10 teams that actually feel that they've got their guy, and they don't need to
Well,
look.
the problem is that this draft doesn't have a lot of what you consider franchise type quarterbacks.
Yes, but the craziness of the sport is that it still does not. It doesn't mean that nobody will take a chance on a Ty Simpson, on a Carson Beck, or
Yeah.
Mendoza, right? I mean, I think Oakland is absolutely,
Yeah, it looks like they're locked in on Mendoza.
and he's not a sure thing.
Look with the obvious caveat that no one's a sure thing. Man, maybe he'll prove me wrong, right? But I don't know. I just he worked really well on a really well coached team, good system. But is there anything about him that just leaps out off of either the stats or the outside of intangible type of stuff? I think what really leaps out about the man?
I mean, it's, to me,
he's accurate. He can anticipate. That's good.
But was his success attributed to the system that was put around him? Look, he's got, as you said, he's got the intangibles, right? He's 6'4", 236 pounds, huge hands, 9.5-inch hands.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he'll fumble less than some other folks.
Yep. So I want to believe, and maybe part of it is just that we've been trained, right, across the years. We've been trained to think that the high-end quarterback talent only comes from the high-end programs.
Well, I mean, where did Josh Allen come from, right?
Yeah. Wyoming.
I mean, look, you have it, right? You obviously do, but there's, where did Tony Romo come from, right? I mean, Dak Prescott's not exactly what you call a high-end program, as much as I wish it was.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, Caleb Williams was at Oklahoma and USC. I mean, you've got examples all over the place, though, of teams mistaking college production for NFL translatable stats.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, look at Ohio State's quarterbacks in the NFL, and I'll be honest, they've not performed super well. And the reason why they haven't is because I think that they are just so much more used to having more talent than everybody else they play, that they don't have sustained success in the NFL because they're used to going to Jackson Smith and Jigma.
Yeah, it's the Denny Werfel.
Smith.
It's the Denny Werfel. Yeah, it's the Denny Werfel, the Shane Matthews effect, right? You've got so much talent that you don't learn to read the defenses properly. You don't. You always have somebody who's going to have 5-yard separation from their defenders, even when they double team, right? So that almost hurts the quarterbacks in those big programs with that much talent around them. So I don't know, man. There's just something, I can't put my finger on it, but something tells me that Mendoza is not going to be a super successful. Might he spend 5, 6, 7 years in the NFL? Probably, but I don't know if he's going to be the franchise quarterback, especially drafted by the Raiders franchise.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tom Brady's working for the Raiders now, right? The man obviously knows how to be personally successful in the NFL, but he's not yet demonstrated from an organizational standpoint that he and the people with him and the Raiders know how to build. I mean, it's early.
Yeah, is he going to be a Danny Ainge or is he going to be a Michael Jordan? As an executive, we don't know yet.
I was struck. I'm struck by the real lack of quarterback talent in this draft. So if you're a team who needs a quarterback, like I think the Minnesota Vikings may need one, if for no other reason than I don't think J.J. McCarthy will ever be healthy enough to be an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, the first 2 years have not been great from a health standpoint.
No, I mean, he's missed way more games than he's played, right? He missed all of the games his rookie year, and he missed over half of them this year, I think.
Yep.
And the Vikings, so they probably need a new quarterback. But there's no one in the draft. And who are they going to bring in from free agency that's going to be the guy that gets them to win Super Bowl? You know, I mean, the Vikings aren't unique in that. There's a lot of teams out there that don't have franchise quarterbacks, but this is not the draft.
All right. Well, so speaking of the Raiders, what did Al Davis say? What did he always target? Oh, well, besides saying just win, baby. Speed. So it's a nice segue. Quarterback, Arkansas quarterback, Talon Green.
4.36, man.
Goodness, this is a quarterback. I mean, are we seeing the evolution of the athlete in real time over the past, really the past 10 years or so?
Well, look, he's not a super great passer. All right. I don't know if his best position in the NFL is going to be quarterback.
I mean, if he has good hands, put him at wide out, man.
Yeah, if he can. But the thing is, he's got to learn how to run a route tree. I mean, it's hard to start at 22, 23 years old and learn how to run a route tree.
You know what I want? Yeah, you know what I want to see? Draft him and put him in at tight end.
Yeah,
6'6".
He's a skinny dude, though, man.
Yeah, it was 6'6", but 227 pounds. So not that skinny.
6'6", 220. That's skinny.
Yeah. So bring him in. Have your training staff put about 15 to 20 pounds of muscle on him. If he can catch, you can. I think the tight end route tree would be an easier learning curve than the wide receiver.
Would you ever trust him to block?
I mean, probably not. I don't know. It's just, so this goes all the way back to those college days playing Madden, right? I always like Al Davis. I always like the Raiders. I like speed. And this thing just popped out at me. I'm like, we haven't seen something like this since Michael Vick, right? I mean, Michael Vick had a 4.33 as a quarterback, and here we are.
He was a different type of quarterback. He couldn't read a defense either.
Yep. So it's this thing really popped out at me. But speaking of speed, who did you see?
Brent. Okay, so obviously the homer aspect again. Brennan Thompson, MSU wide receiver, 4.26 on official time in the combine. That's flying, man. That is. Now the problem is he's short, right? But he's got good hands. He actually did really well at Mississippi State after transferring from Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And he did it with some really uneven quarterback play.
Yep.
And so I think he's going to be a late round prospect just because he only had the one good year of production. But that speed, man, 4.26. That is
that's flying
really fast.
Yeah, and we've seen small, speedy guys be successful in the NFL before, especially as long as he can run a good route and he has good hands.
Not a bad route runner. I mean, one of the only criticisms I have of the design of the Levy offense is it's not the most sophisticated set of route trees most sophisticated route tree for the wide receivers, which is why some of them have had a hard time adjusting to the NFL because it's the veer and shoot, route tree, and it is it really rewards speed over almost anything else, and it's why Kiffin hasn't really put some real game changers in the NFL. Right from Ole Miss, it's the same offense he ran, mm-hmm. Same one, and Baylor didn't put people in the NFL, but they didn't put like the all pros in the NFL. Same thing with Tennessee so far under Heupel.
Yep.
So look, I don't want to knock our guy because he was a really good wide receiver for us for a year. God, I wish we had him for 2 or 3 years. But We'll see how he can adjust the route running skills to the NFL and the more physical corner play, right? Because he's a small dude.
Yeah, I kind of put it all on Al Davis, but really, it's the NFL. Yes, Al took it to another level. Just focused on speed and trying to collect as much speed as possible on both sides of his roster. But the NFL loves speed, and I think just based off of that combine run, he's going to get drafted. Is he going to be a day one draftee? No, absolutely not. But I think I can see him um, being picked based off of that on day two, and maybe he is successful, and maybe he makes some GM look like a genius. But yeah, that speed is just always enticing. All right, I want to double back. We kind of glazed over this guy, the quarterback at Alabama, Ty Simpson.
Yeah, he's like the number 34 ranked prospect, but he's going to be the number 2 quarterback off the board most likely.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm trying to think. He's still a Nick Saban guy. Like he was drafted, recruited by Saban, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't have a history of great quarterback translation to the NFL. But how would you rank him against Carson Beck? Like how? Because Beck's the bigger name, right? Obviously, because Miami got all the way to the championship game. Which one of these two is a better prospect?
Between Simpson and Mendoza?
No, Simpson and Beck. No, we know it's Mendoza. We know Mendoza number one. Like I'm completely.
So sorry, I must have cut out for a second. I think Simpson probably is because he's made far less boneheaded mistakes than Beck has. One of the weird things about the last couple of years of college football is watching the Alabama offensive line struggle as much as they have. And Simpson's offensive line was not nearly as good as the offensive line Beck had in either Georgia or Miami. And Beck had some real problems this year throwing over, and in Georgia, throwing over the middle of the field and then making mistakes at critical times. I mean, he lost the game this year against Louisville with his interceptions.
Yeah.
And he lost a couple of games at Georgia with his inability to throw over the middle and read defenses properly. He also had some problems, to be fair to him, at Georgia with wide receivers dropping the ball at a crazy rate.
And at critical times.
So, I mean, it's not all on him. But they absolutely I think he may have more physical tools than Simpson, but I think Simpson's a better quarterback prospect.
Okay, so maybe I'm being blinded by those physical tools, right? 6'4", really 4 3/4 is what they're saying. So almost 6'5", 233 pounds, 10-inch hands, 75-inch wingspan. So he's going to be able to make those over the middle throws, or at least he's going to be able to see those over the middle throws better. But that's also where those mistakes happen. So
yeah, I mean, look, I think that Beck just has, when you watch kind of European coverage of soccer games, they'll call them moments of madness when a player usually gets sent off for a red card or makes some really weird decision around the goal. And I think Beck has those, and you just don't want that from your quarterback. You just
can't have it.
You can't have your quarterback having a moment of madness. And look, one of the reasons why Miami didn't complete their comeback was because he threw an interception at the end of the game where I was like, dude, I know you're trying to get down there, but who are you throwing to? I mean, the safety was not disguised in that play. He was just there. And that ended the Miami Hurricanes national championship comeback bid.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff obviously pops off to the scouts, to the GMs, because...
Speaking of European soccer, I hate to interrupt, but Arsenal just went up 2-1 over Chelsea in a really important game in the Premier League title race.
All right. And how where are we in this title race? Are we? Is it a long path?
Oh yeah, they still have 10 games left, and Manchester City, as the table stands right now, is 2 points behind Arsenal. If Arsenal wins today, they'll be 5 points clear.
Oh wow,
but
that's pretty significant.
It is, but they still have to play City, and it's been City spent roughly the GDP of a small country the last 3 transfer windows to rebuild their team. And they spent a lot of money again in January. So we'll see if they catch up. And Arsenal spent a lot over the last 4 years. But I think that Arsenal is a better team, but they got to stay healthy, which they haven't been able to do. So it'll be really, for those of your listeners who like watching Premier League soccer, it is going to be, I think, a very tight a race for the championship.
All right. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to the baseball game between the Bulldogs and the Bruins today. Looking forward to professional baseball getting going. And of course, as I said, we might be in the dog days of the basketball season, but I think the excitement is just around the corner as we near the last couple of weeks and then get into...
Next time we chat, let's talk about San Antonio.
Man, San Antonio and Oklahoma City look like they might have recreated that insane advantage that the 60s Celtics or the early 80s Lakers had. Just the talent and the picks, the combination of those things that those two teams have put together is it's insane. It is absolutely insane. But yes, we'll talk about that. But the last thing I wanted to say as we sign off for the day. So the professional basketball excitement is around the corner, but it's further down. But right around the corner, next week, we're definitely going to be getting into it. March Madness, baby. It's the 1st of March today, and March Madness is coming.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not. We're not going to have vested interest as far as Mississippi State, but man, oh man, it's always exciting times when we start figuring out championship week, who's in, who's out, who's got whom advancing in the bracket, all that good stuff. We're gonna do all that in the upcoming couple of weeks. Shep, always a pleasure. Good chat today, and looking forward to chatting with you next week.
All right, enjoy, man.
Thank you. All right, folks, that is it for us. We're going to be signing off. You've been listening to the Sports Spotlight right here on Radio Azad. Always a pleasure to shine the spotlight across the sports world, various sports, and we're going to keep doing it. Thank you for all of those who tune in, and always a pleasure hearing from our listeners and fans. Have a wonderful day.
You are listening to Radio Azad, where your voice matters. Entertain, inform, inspire. Download the free Radio Azad app on the App Store or Google Play to listen. Dallas's Desi community.